Dark tourism is a type of tourism that has gained popularity in recent years. TV shows like Chernobyl and The Dark Tourist have introduced the concept of dark tourism to the minds of many tourists worldwide. But what exactly is dark tourism? Is dark tourism moral? How do you go about being a good dark tourist? What is dark tourism? Dark tourism is visiting places associated with death, fear, and suffering such as war memorials, natural disaster sites, and similar other places. Who is the pioneer of dark tourism? John Lennon 1996 and Malcolm Foley 1996. Malcolm Foley is a professor in the Department of Hospitality, Tourism and Leisure Management at Glasgow Caledonian University. Originally used to face dark tourism in 1996. Traveling to places where there have been a lot of misery and death is known as dark tourism. What makes dark tourism interesting? Dark tourism is similar to seeing a horror movie or touring a haunted house in many ways. Death is the big unknown, and humans are naturally curious creatures. From a safe distance, this up-close interaction with some of life's biggest disasters provide an underlying rush. Even when that past isn't pleasant, it provides a means to follow it in footsteps. Death is a subject that naturally interests humans. We will all pass away at some point, and death now has many diverse coronations around the globe. The majority of visitors do not engage in online satire or Instagram photography. They want to see death up close and get a glimpse on what it could have been like for the people who were killed in this setting and incidents. Types of dark tourism. The first one is grave tourism. Many people are drawn to visit cemeteries that represent a sad historical time frame. Some people might like to visit because it is the final resting place of a famous person. The burial sites give away interesting storylines that draw people to read them. These places tend to bridge the void between the present and the past, the living and the dead. The second one is battlefield tourism. The visiting of battlefields and war ruins, a dark tourism destination, is not new. There are World War I sites at the War Fortress at Batu Mount Pinning. There are also historical reenactments in period costume to give a real experience to the people. Mass grave and war zones are also popular examples of battlefield tourism. Dark tourism spot in Malaysia. Amber Court, Genting Highland. A hotel called Amber Court is situated just above the main settlement. It was constructed in 1990s and is said to be haunted. The Go-To-Go Hotel at a local amusement park created Amber Court. However, the theme park was never finished and has since been abandoned. Villa Genting Development, a hotel developer, went bankrupt in 2000. The hotel's facade was covered in red algae and the parking lot was full of rusty cars as a result of its decline. Due to the hotel's unusual facade, rumors about its haunting spread throughout time. One of the Malaysian most well-known dark tourism destinations was created when bloggers upload films of their visits to the hotel at the YouTube. Even a local horror film was shot in the hotel, enhancing its reputation. International dark tourism spot. Catacombs of Paris. The history of Paris catacombs started in the late 18th century when major public health problems tied to the city's cemeteries led to decision to transfer the contract to underground sites. The remains of nearly 6 million people are buried in these labyrinths, making it the world's largest grave, and some will argue one of the scariest places on the planet. It's a haven for the lovers of the macabre and history buffs, who can experience more than 2,000 years of history in one place. It might have been scary, but after 1809, when the place was opened to public, it attracted a lot of visitors from France to abroad. It's got even more visitors when well-known people were sent to living for eternity down there, including the one President of France, Napoleon III. At times, the hordes of visitors got too much for the authorities to handle, and they limited entrance or just closed the place to the public for months on end. This day, you can visit the catacombs any time of the year, and it's said annually the catacombs of Paris receive about 550,000 people. Many real-life things happen down there that have caused people to be intrigued. For example, a group known as the Commoners killed a bunch of French monarchists in the tunnels. It's also used to be the hiding spot for the French resistance, while the Nazis has a bunker down in the catacombs. More recently, Airbnb paid a whopping $300,000 to rent some parts of the tunnels for the night. Some friends folks would go down there to be with the dead and leave the rest of the world behind. Will you go down in the catacombs? Do you think you will opt for being a cataphile? Conclusions. The idea of dark tourism is attractive, and it has recently drawn more public and scholarly interest. There are many options to engage in dark tourism activities, from visiting cemeteries to competing in zombie races to helping those affected by natural disasters. It is very obvious that there are a variety of tourism practices that collectively fit under the heading of dark tourism. Along with the various forms of dark tourism, there are numerous reasons why people choose to visit. There are nevertheless ongoing ethical issues that require attention despite the various causes. There are conflicting views on whether dark tourism is ethical or wrong, ranging from indecent selfies to photographing grieving individuals. Thank you.